Good afternoon, dear colleagues. We are second-year students of the second group of the Faculty of Medicine. My name is Щербаченко Darьya.
And my name is Kудряшова Янина.
Our scientific supervisor is Чернышкова Елena Vячеславовna. We present our work dedicated to DEMICHOV VLADIMIR PETROVICH. We choose this topic because the modern development of medicine is impossible without knowledge about the past, about scientists and their discoveries. Organ transplantation is one of the great advances in modern medicine. Transplantation is necessary because the recipient's organ has failed or has been damaged by disease or injury.
Vladimir Petrovich Demichov was a Soviet scientist and organ transplantation pioneer who performed several transplants in the 1940s and 1950s. Vladimir Demichov was born on the 31st of July in 1916 into a family of Russian peasants living in the Volgograd region. His father was killed during the Russian Civil War when Demichov was about 3 years old, so he and his brother and sister were raised by their mother, who managed to provide them with a good education. In 1934, Demichov began studying at the Voronezh State University, where he created the world's first artificial heart and successfully implanted it into a dog which survived for 2 hours after the surgery. He was only 21 years old. A description of this groundbreaking work was published in April 1938 in the university students' newspaper. He then transferred to the biology faculty of Moscow State University, where he wrote his first scientific work.
Soon after graduation, Demichov was conscripted into military service and became a soldier in the Red Army. When the Soviet Union was drawn into the Second World War in June 1941, he served on the front line as a forensic expert and pathologist. After the war, Demichov resumed his post in the Human Physiology Department at Moscow State University, where he continued his experimental research, performed successful heart and lung transplants on warm-blooded animals. In 1947, he moved to the Institute of Surgery in Moscow, where he began to experiment with liver and kidney transplantation.
In 1952, Vladimir Demichov developed the method of memory coronary bypass grafting. He tried to sew the internal thoracic artery into the coronary below the site of its lesion. In 1988, Demichov, together with a group of surgeons, received the state prize for the development of the method. It is still widely used in world clinical practice.
In February 1954, he transplanted a dog's head onto another dog. During this surgical intervention, the circulatory system of both animals was connected in order to obtain a common blood flow. There are unique photos when two dog heads drink milk at the same time. He ignored the condemnation from his critics, becoming more successful with time. At the late 1950s, news of his experiments spread to the outside world. In fact, by the time American surgeons became aware of Demichov's dog head transplantation, he had already been performing these procedures for 5 years.
Demichov coined the word transplantology in his 1960 monograph, for which he received his doctoral degree. He joined the Sklifosovsky Institute of Emergency Medicine in 1960. His main goal was to push into surgical practice vital organ transplantation in humans. Demichov's ideas were initially met with a huge degree of skepticism, but he maintained a calm demeanor and was able to field all questions that were thrown at him by his critics. Eager to share his ideas with other medical professionals from around the world, he was always happy to welcome visitors to his laboratory to witness his experiments.
In 1963-1965, Demichov, together with assistants Fatin and Karanov, developed a physiological method of preserving vital isolated organs in a functioning state by connecting in transparent thermostat cases to the circulatory system of a living organism. He managed to connect up to 4 cardiopulmonary complexes to one animal and keep them working for up to 7 days. During the same years, he performed a total replacement of blood in dogs, sheep, and pigs with human blood, and then connected human cadaveric hearts to their circulatory system. According to this technique, DEMICHOV managed to revive the cadaveric hearts of a person from 2 to 6 hours after death and maintain their work.
DEMICHOV and his devoted disciple and colleague, Mikhail Razgulov, placed human cadaveric organs placed in polyurethane bags in the abdominal cavity of a pig, connecting them with the circulatory system of the animal. DEMICHOV called pigs literally a bank of human organs on their feet. In 1965, at a meeting of the transplantology section, DEMICHOV made a report on the creation of a donor organ bank using animals. His message was subjected to a real debacle. DEMICHOV was called a charlatan in science. A ban was imposed on heart transplantation operations.
After the meeting in 1965, DEMICHOV never recovered. In 1968, he suffered his first stroke and he began to lose his memory. At the same time, DEMICHOV was an honorary doctor of the University of Leipzig, an honorary member of the Royal Scientific Society in Sweden, an honorary doctor of the clinic in the USA. He died at the age of 83.
The gravestone is engraved with a quote from a great scientist. I tried in my experiments to do everything for a person. Thank you for your attention.